speaks about. What does he say? Time I am the destroyer of all worlds, and I have come here to destroy everyone. Kala, time. Time influences everything. What else?
Karma.
You got it on Google over there. No? Okay. Karma. Karma. What does karma mean? Action, right? Karma. Actions. How the living entity acts within this world. How to act within this world. Krishna says how the great saintly persons act in this world. How the Supreme Personality of Godhead acts in this world. And then one more. Prakriti, material nature. How does this material world function? So these are the 5 subject matters of the Bhagavad Gita. Anytime you read the Bhagavad Gita, anytime you come across some philosophy, you can actually categorize everything into these 5. And then by categorizing into those particular five subjects, you can actually able to understand philosophy very easily, because Krishna explains it in total. So out of those 5, which ones are eternal? Yeah, the only one that's not eternal is karma. Ishvara is eternal. He is the Supreme Personality. He can never be not existing, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Neither was there a time, or I did not exist, neither you. So I will remain an individual. You will remain an individual for the rest of eternity. So will I. So the karma amongst the 5, karma is the only one that is not eternal. Ishvara is eternal. Material nature, Prakriti, although temporary, seeing temporary, it's always manifest and unmanifest. So in that sense, it's always temporary. It's always eternal. Time itself is always eternal. The jiva is eternal, and the Ishvara is eternal. Karma is the only thing that is not eternal. So the most important thing here we're discussing today, or the important thing we're discussing today, is kala, which means time. Now, kala, time, is very, very important. I have asked, what's the most valuable thing in our lives? What is the most valuable thing in our lives? Time, right? Now we already said it, so then it's easy to answer. Time. But some people say, well, it's my money, it's my family, it's my relationships. It's all of these things. But without time, how can you have all of these things? You can't. You can say, okay, my family, but you can be on your deathbed. So what's more valuable right now? Well, that time is valuable. You only got very little time to spend with that family. Or people say, in our youth, we don't value time so much. So money we value. At our old age, we value time so much. But in our youth, we don't value time. We value money. We value adoration, distinction, all of these things. But we see that time in our life, as we become more conscious maybe, we realize how precious it is. How it is the most expensive thing in this universe. It's something, when you lose it, you can never get it back. As Chanakya Pandit, who is a great Pandit, means philosopher, he says that even a slight fraction of time cannot be purchased with millions of dollars. So therefore, even a moment of time lost without profit must be calculated as the greatest loss of life. Just one moment we lose, we can't get that back. There's so many people in this world who at the time of death say, give me one more day. Give me one more day. Give me one more day. I can do the things I just can do. I can say goodbye. I can go and do something that I really wanted to do. But it doesn't allow. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire. Doesn't matter if you're a billionaire. Doesn't matter if you have the best doctors in the universe helping you. If you have whatever the topmost, who's the best doctor in Georgia? You know, right? Oh, she works with the doctors, you don't. Oh, you work with doctors. There's probably, it's all relative. So there's some top class doctor, but he cannot help you at the time of death. So at the same time, it also seems like a very beautiful thing because it brings about so many nice things in this world, time. It brings about so many different relationships and it brings about so many different, nature. You see time go by, how beautiful it is. Now spring is coming around. You see this flowers starting, there's like buds, there's like, it's starting to look, starts to look really pretty at sometimes. It's very beautiful. The fact that, there's like some child born and it comes up to life and how it grows, and that's very beautiful. But at the same time, it's destructive. It reigns supreme. Nobody can overcome it. Nobody can destroy it. Nobody can conquer it. Just like in this world, the science wants to conquer nature. But we see that it cannot ever conquer time. That time conquers all. Time reigns supreme. Because we see that even in our lives, as soon as we're born, we begin to die. As soon as you're born, your time is ticking. That's it. You've got a certain amount of time in this world, but it begins to run out. As soon as you're born, that's it. Okay, now, all right, here we go. This material body starts the process of birth, death, old age, disease. It starts to show that it grows. Some byproduct is produced. And then you dwindle around for some time. Old age hits, and then you die. So time begins to run out. Time acts as the supreme factor of our lives, whether we're conscious of it or not. Some of us may be conscious of it, but a lot of us in this world are not conscious of it. As the Mahabharata, it specifically makes that point. If I can bring it up here. Yudhishthira Maharaj says that what is more amazing in this world than what is more amazing in this whole world is that people are dying. So many people are dying every day. But those who in this life have not yet died are desiring and living their lives as if they're going to live forever. That we never think we're going to die. I'm like, in our youth, especially when you're 18, 19, you never think about death. You never think that you'll be old. But then, we see like our grandma is old, our parents are getting old, we see people dying, but we may at the time of death, when somebody close to us dies, may have that strike of realization, oh, there is death coming, but then a day goes by, and then you kind of forget about it all. A week goes by, and then it's like kind of, okay, life, the illusion of life takes over, and you forget about that there is death. And we go on living life thinking that we're going to live forever. So we're running out of time. It's true. It's actually, if we understood how much time we had left in this world, it would be an anxiety. It's very little time, actually. It's very little time. We don't realize how little time we have in this world. The more conscious we become, the more we realize. I'm not old, but I feel like it's like now you start to realize I don't have that much time because there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do in life, actually. There's so much to do. There's so much to go and try to fulfill a particular purpose, and you realize what that purpose is, or how much work there is to be done. So you feel, oh man, just like when I was 15, 14, I wasted all my youth just playing sports. Just like hours and hours and hours and hours watching movies. I was watching 3 movies a day. I don't know how I was doing it. I was going to school too. 3 movies a day, go to school, play sports, just wasting life. But now you start to realize, oh my God, all that time could have been utilized in a proper way. So if we were given a clock, maybe, like you ever seen, what is that sand? What is that? Hourglass. If we were given an hourglass with our life, maybe that would give us some understanding, oh, I should utilize my time properly instead of wasting it. But unfortunately, we don't get that. We don't know when our time is up, actually. Although we define that my life will be finished at old age, actually, Srila Prabhupada says, who's old? Who's old? You don't know. Who's going to die first? We don't know. Any of us in this room, some of us in our 20s, some of us in our 30s, some 40s, some 50s, maybe older. Any of us could go at any moment. So how will we utilize our time? But it's hard to understand how to utilize our time. Because out of laziness, we don't even figure out what to do with the time we have in this world. So then we come up with ideas how to use it. And we come up with sometimes the dumbest ideas. And then we propagate that, and then it becomes the culture. Just like, for example, now, one of the main ways we engage our time in this world is watching grown men with a ball, and there's a hoop, and everybody competes who can put it into that hoop as many times as they can. Or there's a ball, and one side has to kick it from one side to another, and you got to run after that ball, or you got to throw it, or you got to tackle the other person for that ball. So that's one of the ways we find enlivening to use our time. Oh yes, okay, competition. But it's kind of stupid, actually. It's a ball, and you got to put it inside a little basket. It doesn't sound like a good use of the human form of life, does it? That's what I did for some time. Mine was a little ball, and then I had to throw it, and then the other person has a stick, and then they hit it with the stick, and then you got to run after the ball. It's a cricket. It's like you got to bounce it. It's not like baseball. You got to bounce the ball. And wasted hours, days, and days as you got to perfect how to land the ball and how to hit the ball perfectly. It's like really stupid. It's really stupid. And we're attached to that. I was extremely attached to playing sports. But then you realize, well, actually, what is this? For example, now we're in UGA, and there's a lot of students. I mean, it's like 40,000 students there. And we see that, well, that's one form of waste of time. But another waste of time is to, how would I say this here? Is to think that we're utilizing our time and manage our time, but ultimately itself, the whole thing is a waste of time. You understand? So it's like, all right, going to university, for example. I went to university, I finished university. Biggest waste of my time of my life. What did I learn? Not much. I got through it. But you can ask any university student, how much of your course did you actually utilize at your job? And they'll say, well, 95% of it was useless. 95% of what I learned, I'll never use again. So throughout those 3-4 years at university, with the idea of utilizing my time to go and get something proper, and you got to learn time management, and you got to make sure that you're on top of all your studies. We're busy getting the big stuff. We're utilizing our time. But for what at the end of it? Just like I tell the university student, okay, throughout university you play basketball and you play all of these things, but what will it give you for the rest of your life? What will it give you? You played that for some time, and then you just got to move on. And you actually, that time that you used, it just goes away. It's just like all the sports that I played, what did it give me? Nothing now. It's like nothing. It has nothing to do with my life. Is completely different. It doesn't carry with me at all. So time should be utilized. Because if we don't utilize it properly, actually if we just utilize it in the pursuit of material happiness or material life, acquiring things in this world, it's kind of not very intelligent, because we come into this world with nothing and we leave this world with nothing. Along the way, we try so hard to acquire these things just to lose it all. Actually, it doesn't even belong to you. You're borrowing it. So much hard work, so much effort, but at the end of it, it's just we unnecessarily endeavor in this world for all of these different things, for good health, bodily health, good, whatever, the opposite sex, name, fame, adoration, all of these things, and we've spent so much time in doing this with not much payback, actually. It doesn't give us that fulfillment, it doesn't give us that joy. Or people may argue also with us that say, okay, but what about the little joys in life? There are little joyful moments. Well, these things give me joy, that they give me a little bit of happiness. And, because sometimes when we look back in our life, we have the tendency to see even those boring times as like good times. But right now, There's things we're doing in life that are really boring. But then when we look back at it later, we go, oh, that was good times. Just like in COVID, it was normal to go outside. But when COVID hit and you couldn't get outside, then people were reminiscing, how nice it is to be outside, how life is so amazing to be outside, and we can't wait. And then it came back, and everybody was excited for few months. Everybody was out in Piedmont Park doing their thing, and then it was back to normal. It was like it's the same stale thing again. Or if you actually analyze it, we like the little joys of life. Life offers us way more suffering than joys, unfortunately, also. Somebody who was saying that you were saying that this morning, that material, what is it? What did you say? Material life is limited, but suffering is unlimited. You can suffer so much in this world. Actually, there's way more suffering than pleasure that you can get. Like we often give the example, I could also like to say, how much pleasure can you get out of a tooth? I don't know. It's maybe biting something. I don't like tooth. How much pleasure, but how much pain can you get out of it? A lot. Anybody ever had tooth pain? Yeah? Anybody else? I had terrible. You had it? Yeah. I used to have terrible teeth when I was really young because I used to eat a lot of sugar candy. I was a menace. So I used to take candy and you have rock candies in Nepal and India, and you just bite on it. You just crunch it all day. I used to put sugar in everything that I ate. I used to put sugar in like the dal, which is like the lentil soup. I used to put it in that. I used to put it in my milk. I put it in my rice. I put it in everything. I don't know why my grandma didn't stop me, but so I had black teeth from eating too much sugar. And so then by the time I was 6 or 7, there's so much pain. I remember even till now. So clearly you can't sleep even. You can't sleep. And I also remember saying, when you live in the villages, my spiritual master also describes, I have practical experience, you don't have doctors close by. So if you get tooth pain, you got to just suffer through it. You just got to suffer through it. And it's like you see older people get that, and it's like a whole week they're just lying down and holding their tooth. And they're trying this and that, but it's a lot you can see. It's just like your physical body loses energy, and you don't have enough energy to even go around and do house chores and all of these things. But that's just one tooth. What to speak of different parts of the body. Even the nail itself, how much pleasure can the nail give? Not much. If you go, what is that? Manicure? What pedicure? No, manicure? Does that feel good? I've never done it. I don't know what that's like. What does that mean to feel good? I don't know. It's like they do the nails, right? Those Chinese ladies, they sit there and they do it. Is it Chinese ladies here too in Atlanta? Yeah, okay, they're everywhere. Okay, that's like a Chinese profession. So they get, you got it done, Navani? Ah. He had to go with his girlfriend, that's why, right? I'm sorry. Ain't no man going there by himself. So how much pleasure was it, Navaneem? Was it what you hoped for? No, you don't know. You don't remember.
I mean, it
was cool. So it can give you only so much pleasure. But if you take a pin and insert it right under your nail, yeah, everyone can feel it already. It's a lot of pain. So the time we have in our life, often we get a little bit of joy. But if you compare with the majority time of our life, it's spent in the pursuit. Often as students, it's like, yeah, I'm suffering right now, but I know I'm suffering to be able to enjoy later, to be able to get that job that I wanted. But then you get the job and then it doesn't stop. So that it's a lot to deal with. To understand how to utilize our time, it takes a lot of endeavor to understand. So one has to go out of one way to figure that out. But it's very difficult. You got a lot to deal with. You got to ask yourself a lot of questions. We got to learn to control our senses. We got to restrict ourselves in so many ways. If we start to understand what life is actually about, if we try to understand the purpose of life, we have to restrict ourselves in so many ways. So often, people will say that, that in this world that we want to get free, and we have this time, and we should understand how we should utilize that time. But we become comfortable with living how everybody else is living. So as long as everybody's wasting their time, I'm okay also doing it. Just like a prisoner in jail, he might be pretty happy because he gets food. He got his cellmates, he probably can hang out with. He gets to go out for a walk once in a day. So he lives a pretty easygoing life. So why does he need to go out into the free world? There's no need. It's easygoing life in the prison. He liked the prison. He becomes used to the prison. He's got good sleeping arrangements. So why should I go out in the world? Let me just stay here. So that is kind of like our position. How to utilize our time. Because if we understand how to utilize our time, then we have to change so many aspects of our life. And that may be really hard. Maybe really hard for the prisoner to go out into the world and get a job and then have a house and the mortgage to pay and all of these things. But there's freedom for him. He can see the world. There's so many things to experience, such and such, instead of being caged up in the jail his whole life. So this time is very important, because in the human form of life, we can actually understand this point. How to utilize time. How to utilize it in such a way that it is not destructive. Because right now, if we look at our life, especially as we get older, the older you get, the more you see the destruction, how the nature of time is destruction. Because once you hit your peak, what's peak of life like? 90? A peak life, that's probably death. You peak probably at 25, 20, no? At least 40. But when you have the most energy, most things you can do, okay, 40, all right. Okay, that makes me feel good. But our joke in the ashram here is that after 30, you're practically finished in life. I'm so sorry. So I'm almost getting there, and I'm like, oh my God! And now I got to push that too. I got to push that bar up to 40. I got to reinvent the joke. He likes that one. So time is running out. So we may peak in life. We may have our peak in life, and then we start to see how destructive it is. Our energy starts to fade a little bit. Our ability to digest things starts to fade a little bit. Our beauty, So all of these things in life they're destructive. You see the time factor coming in. So then we try to do so many things to try to hold on to that time. Then we better start exercising, because you want to keep the body. You got to keep the body going. Just like when I was 18, sometimes we used to go out and just like stay out till like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then get up at like 6 o'clock, be good to go, no problem. And it's like, not that I'm old or it's not like that, but it's like you can feel the difference of how recovery is much slower to when you were 18, 19. And how the body takes longer to recover. It needs more arrangements for it to be, to keep it going in a healthy and sharp way. Just like we have this I always say this, Brian Johnson, trying to extend his time in this world, because how important it is, and what he wants to live till he's 200 years old. I don't think he's going to do it. His thing is don't die. He don't look that healthy. Huh? He's the founder of Venmo, actually. He's the founder of Venmo, and he sold his company to start this thing where it's like extending human form of life. So basically, he takes all of these pills and then has to do all of this, whatever he does, different routines, and he has the perfect sleep score out of everyone. He's, what is it, like 6 months of perfect sleep, 100%. So he has to live life. If you see his life, it's very restrictive. It's like very disciplined. He stops eating at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. Yeah, it's wild. His schedule is really wild. So he wants to extend that life. And so it means that, okay, I need to make my body young. So his biological age is what now? 18? That when they do the test, he's meant to be super young. But if he spend a week or two without all of this routine, you'll see the body go back straight to where it is because of the nature of it. You can't control nature. So we try to extend our time. We start to understand the destructive nature of time. But if we are able to understand the proper goal of life, what actually life is about, then this time factor actually doesn't play much of a role. It plays a role, of course, but it does not become destructive. The time factor becomes constructive. We have this really amazing verse that the first time I read it, when I read through the Srimad Bhagavatam, it stuck with me very deeply. That ayur harati vaipung samudyanastam cha yan asau tasyarte yat kshano nitta uttama shloka vartaya. By rising and setting of the sun, by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing the topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. It was a very amazing thing to me that occurred. I was reading this when I was like 19. And I was like, wow, that's, by when the sun rises and the sun sets, it's like, whoa, our life, we just lost a day of life. We just lost one day. It decreases the duration of our lives. It's quite amazing. Kala Chakra, there's a nice verse in the Brahma Samhita, how, let me see if I can bring it. Yat Chakshir Esa Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samasta Murta Aseja Teja. I'm messing the whole thing up. I say it every day, and then when I get up here, then I forget it all. But if I can bring that up, can somebody bring that up? Is that on or is that not on? Let me see. Brahma Samhita. Do I have that here? Yeah, here we go. So it speaks about the supreme nature of time. Now Krishna. Does anybody remember what number that verse is? Yet Chakshur. That's how it starts. Sorry, I should have had this pulled up. I just thought about it, so. Got it up? Okay, let me see. Yeah, okay. 552. Yat Chakshur Esa Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samasta Sura Murti Asesha Teja Yasyagya Brahmati Samprita Kala Chakra Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. The sun, who is the king of all planets, full of infinite effulgence, the image of the good soul, is as the eye of this world. I adore the primeval Lord in pursuance of those of whose order the sun performs his journey, mounting the wheel of time. So that Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the representation of time. He's supreme. Actually, Srila Prabhupada writes in many different places that implies in many places that those who don't see, atheists, they see God in time as death, who is supreme, who cannot be conquered. So this time is very important, and this human form of life is very important. As the Bhagavatam said, Tadva sudurlabham adam bahu sambhavante manusham artadam anityam api hadhira turnam yateta napatid anumrityu yavan nishrayasya vishaya khalu sarvatasyat. After many, many births and deaths, one achieves the rare human form of life, which, although temporary, affords one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Thus, a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for the human being. So the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vedic literatures, what did they say? They utishta jagrita prapya varanam nibhodhata. Rise, awake, and don't stop until you attain the goal. Wake up, sleeping souls. Wake up in this, wake up to the real true understanding of life. What is that true understanding? Sabhai dharma, sabhai pungsa paro dharma yato bhakti radokshaje ahitugi apratihata yatma suprasidati. What is that dharma? What is that occupation that we should engage in, by which time is utilized properly? This temporary human form of life, which is very short-lived, can be utilized to its perfection. Although life is temporary, we can attain the eternal within this life. What is that supreme? What is that position? The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which these human beings can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated, uninterrupted, to completely satisfy this self. So that joy of life that we're looking for in this time, especially in our youth, that we try to seek out, and even throughout our whole life, that satisfaction of the self is only found when that dharma, that practice, that principle of human life is actually carried out properly. Not in wasting time, but actually examining. Therefore, uttishta jagrita, wake up, get up, understand, inquire. Atato brahma jigyasa, now you have attained. Now it is time to inquire. Figure out what this instrument is for. Don't use this phone as a hammer because you're not conscious of what it actually is meant for. Understand, utilize your God-given intelligence to understand the purpose of human life. Study it deeply. Make it your life. Apply it in your life. Understand that supreme dharma. Savai pumsa paro dharma. Paro, the topmost dharma. Occupation. You may have an occupation in this world as a mother, as a father, as a doctor, as an engineer, all of these things. Those are temporary occupations. But what is the paro dharma? What is the eternal dharma, nitya dharma of the soul? When we start to engage our activities, our karma, our activities, on that platform, then time no longer becomes a destructive factor of our lives. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, for those who endeavor on this path, there's no loss or diminution. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. A little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. What greater fear is there than losing everything? People say, well, I'm not scared of death. Time is there, but I'm not scared of death. But it's a farce. Everybody's scared of death. Why? Because they may be ignorant of what death actually is. They think, oh yeah, you just go, that's all. But actually, it's a painful thing. Everything is ripped away from everything you work for in your life. Just completely taken away by force. You have no choice or option to opt out. Even if, and you have experience, if you've ever been robbed before, you have no option. Somebody's got you at gunpoint. You have no option. You got to give up all your things. It's painful. Somebody walks into your house, steals everything you have, most valuable possession you have. What is your most valuable possession? Maybe we value sometimes, the sentiments that we have, something our friend gave us, or maybe something our lover, lover gave us, which is a ring generally, right? That's like if you get married, you put a ring. And so that may be something one regards very highly and has a diamond in it, so then you get that robbed. It's a lot of pain. Oh, it meant so much to me. At the time of death, all of those things are completely just ripped away. So it is very difficult, very fearful. But one who makes, even Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, a little advancement on this path of Krishna consciousness, he saves himself from the most dangerous type of fear. He no longer becomes fearful of death. For the devotees of the Lord, as stated by the Srimad Bhagavatam, that it doesn't do anything. It doesn't decrease your life. Why? Because we're not the body. The sun, right? By the rising of the setting of the sun, yes, this body comes to destruction. But the pure devotees of the Lord, the devotees of the Lord, they may not even be pure. They understand, okay, this body is temporary. So whether the sun rises or sets, how many days go, okay, no problem. But because why? Because they're absorbed in that which is eternal. They're absorbed in hearing about, in practicing, in putting at the center of their life the relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how to serve Krishna. And therefore, so there's no worry actually. There's no fear. Why? Because there's eternal position. That even if I died, if my body was to die tomorrow, no problem. It's okay. Why? Because Krishna has promised in the Bhagavad Gita that in the next life, those who perform devotional service within this life will attain that same position, in which they will be able to continue where they left off. There's no loss or diminution on this path. The spiritual progress is never taken away. So there's no fear. Just like you're not fearful when you go to sleep. When you go to sleep, you'll enter into so many bodies in your sleep. You'll be so many things. I don't know, it's like gets wild sometimes. You become so many different bodies and so many different persons in your sleep. But you're not fearful when you go to sleep. You know, even if you have a bad dream, when you wake up, you're good. It doesn't change anything in your life. Sometimes I have a dream, and it's like, you know, I'm doing something, or like I break something in my dream. We have like this expensive gear for like filming and stuff. I've had dreams where like I just completely broke everything. And it's like super fearful because like, oh my God, you know, I have to use all this, it's expensive and all of this. But when you wake up, it's all that fear is gone. Why? Because you realize, oh, it was just a dream. So similarly, when one gets out of the bodily conception of life, he starts to utilize his time properly. He no longer becomes attached to these silly things in this world, like throwing a ball around. And when you have to throw the ball, how we play, you have to keep your arms straight, like that. It doesn't look as goofy as that. Maybe it does. Now I think about it, that looked really stupid. Yeah, so we become attached to these different things because of the identification with this body. Along with the identification and attachment to this body, so many other things come about. And so we waste time in so many ways thinking that it is useful. But ultimately, it doesn't give us what we want. So, we should utilize our time. How? Tannama rupa charitadi sukirtananu smrityo kramena rasanamana siniyoja tishtan brajita daniraga jananu gami kalam nayeda kilamiti upadeshataram. What is the topmost advice we can get in this world? What is the supreme most advice? What is the essence of our advice? We all want good advice, right? Everybody wants good advice. What is the best advice? How to use our time. Because it is the most valuable thing in our life. Not how to use our money, but how do we use our time? Actually, we should think about that. That's where we should seek advice. How do we use time? That is the essence of all advice. So what does Rupa Goswami say? He says the essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's time in one's full time, in 24 hours a day, in chanting and remembering the Lord. So divine names, transcendent form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, and thereby gradually engage one's tongue and mind. In this way, one can reside in Vrindavan, Vraja, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service. So this is the supreme topmost advice, how to utilize our time, and how to do that in endeavoring for this eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is very beautiful, who can award us all of those things that we're looking for in this world. That relationship which is not distracted by time, that activity which is not distracted by time, in which we don't have to constantly change from one activity to another. Just like in this world, we do something for some time and we utilize our time, but then it doesn't give us pleasure anymore, and we have to shift to something else and start again. And then we lost all that time now. So many students at this university, it's like they've been at the university for 4 years, but now they want to do something else because they're not happy. So then now, all that time, all that knowledge, all that thing that you acquired, gone. 4 years of your life. Now you got to do another 4 years. I mean, this is something I still cannot understand and get my head around. PhD students get out of school when they're like 30. Oh my God, I'm only 26, and I'm like, I feel like it's been a long time. But when you're like, he thought that was cute. He's like, yeah, you wait till a little later. So, So much time gone, but there's so much available within Krishna consciousness. And when you realize it, when you become conscious of it, we utilize our time in such a way that we don't waste it. Every moment of your life in Krishna consciousness can be used. Even actually in material life, so much time is wasted. Just like if you want to play sports, when you used to play, traveling from one location to another, you got to drive, and then sometimes we used to play, a game like an hour and a half away. So I just lost 3 hours of my day. I can't do nothing. Just to go and do this activity, to utilize my time, I go and do 3 hours of driving just to play for an hour and a half. It's like, okay, damn, that's a lot of waste of time. But for the devotees of the Lord, even whatever circumstances they may be, because it is not materially bound, at all time, places, and circumstances, we're making progress in Krishna consciousness. By chanting, if you're driving somewhere, you might be hearing a class, hearing the qualities of Krishna, pastimes of Krishna. If you're getting on a bus to go on a long distance, you may be chanting. I got on a plane once. It was a 10-hour flight. I was like, I can chant 64 rounds. That was the first time I chanted 64 rounds. It was awesome. It was really hard, but it was really awesome. It was like, okay, I can utilize this time. You want to go on a vacation, you got to sit on a plane for 10 hours. It's like, God. But when you understand how to utilize your time at every second, every moment, then every part of your life becomes progressive. Everything is productive. Everybody wants to be super productive in this world. Every moment should be productive. But Krishna consciousness gives us that. I didn't even speak about how we waste time on this thing, but it's a whole topic. But we don't recognize our time, and that's what's getting stolen from us in this world the most, in different forms, in distraction in sports, distraction on this thing. 20 years of your life goes in this. If you're a standard American, and it's 20 years just on this. You have 80 years left. You have 80 years on average now in your life. 20 years goes in this. 20 years it goes in just growing up. And then 20 years of your life goes in just working a job. How much time do we have left? Not much. And then you got to eat and sleep. So we need to make every moment of our life productive. So Krishna consciousness allows us to do that by chanting, by hearing. And it is not, is it depressive? Is it now I have to give up so much? It's just like the man in the jail. He thinks he has to give up so much. Oh, now I can live an easygoing life in my jail cell. Similarly, we can live a somewhat of an easygoing life. We don't have to think much. We can go on and we can work a job and do all of these things. But if one really wants to actually experience that real freedom from time factor, freedom from death, freedom from fear, then one has to make an endeavor. One has to make intense endeavor. That he has to go and really inquire about life and really apply himself to this Krishna consciousness. And then one can see. One can experience that. In the spiritual world, time is presence by its access. It's conspicuous by its absence. That in time in the spiritual world, what does it do? It only facilitates the pleasure of Krishna. It only does. That's the only purpose of it. It facilitates the pleasure of Krishna. There is no destructive time factor. It always facilitates the different loving relationship with Krishna. And in the spiritual world, every step is a dance and every word is a song. Similarly, you can experience that within this world. Actually, if you practice Krishna consciousness, you can feel that. Every day, I always tell, and I've been saying this for a while, and I tell the students in UJ, that you start to see life in color. You've seen that in what is that? What are those rabbit things? That Warner Brothers. What are those things? What is that cartoon? Not Looney Tunes. The other one, I forget. Oh man, huh? What is it? Is it? That's Looney Tunes. Hold up. Maybe. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But anyways, when they feel happy, it's all like rainbows and Krishna consciousness is like that. It is like that. I'm sorry. It's fun. It's a good time. It's really, one can go really deep into Krishna consciousness. He can see every aspect of his life, analyze it, understand it through the deep philosophy, and derive great satisfaction out of that service attitude towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At every moment, one just has to become conscious, not bodily conscious, and Krishna conscious. They can have that experience. And then you start to see other people just like, when I see students just waste time, it actually gives you a great pain in the heart. It's like, man, you're utilizing your human form of life in such a nice way to where you'll actually find pleasure, but searching after so many things in these little petty things of life, considering them to be the source of enjoyment. It's actually painful because people are being cheated. People are being cheated. The school is cheating them. Our youth, our high intellect in our youth, our sharp ability to acquire knowledge is wasted in just some mundane thing that doesn't give us what we want. So when we utilize time, we start to experience that, and we're designed to give that to others. We see how to utilize time and when we do it properly, it gives us great pleasure and joy in life. And so we want to share that with others. So we feel great pain in our heart that people are not utilizing their time properly. Don't waste it. It's very valuable. You have such a valuable human form of life. You have very short time. Only 26, but in realizing Krishna consciousness, there's a lot to do in Krishna consciousness. So much to do. There's so much to understand and know about oneself, how conditioned we are, how much progress we need to make, how to make that progress. There's such little time. So one has to become conscious. One has to become enthusiastic to learn and utilize this human form of life to its fullest. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says that one should always utilize full time, 24 hours a day. That's what he did. Barely slept. Only slept like 1 hour, maybe not even some days, most days. Nobody try that at home. Yeah. But when we become conscious of Krishna, then we don't want to sleep actually. We don't want to sleep. We need more time. We don't have enough time in the day. One boy was telling me, it's like, you guys just sleep we only sleep like 6 hours a day, sometimes busy, so less. And he was like, I don't know what I would do with all that time. I just don't know what I would do. And I was like, I need more time. God, I don't have enough time. I need time to slow down. Because they're so engaged and so absorbed in Krishna consciousness, trying to become so absorbed in Krishna consciousness. And you never want to stop. You just don't want to stop. Sometimes you don't want to stop. You want to keep moving, keep going, but the body stops you. You're like, all right, you have to go to sleep. So this is the way of Krishna consciousness. This is when you come to the platform of starting to just get a glimpse of it, you feel great enthusiasm, great happiness. Just life becomes very amazing. Every aspect of it, every aspect of Krishna consciousness becomes very amazing. So we should utilize this time. We have this important human form of life, whether we're in an older body or a younger body, we should understand that it's very short. And immediately take up the practice and see how to advance. And therefore, as that verse says, one should take shelter of those who have done so and get good advice. Don't ask for advice from the materialists of this world. They're not our well-wishers in the long run. They're not ill-wishing. They're not ill what? Ill will. Okay, they're not ill-willed. But they may not understand, as the Bhagavatam says that one blind man following the blind. You should not allow a blind man to help you cross the street. So similarly, we should not allow blind men to tell us how to live our lives in this world, because they themselves don't know. But Krishna and the great devotees of the Lord, they have attained perfection. Krishna doesn't attain perfection, but Krishna is explaining how to attain that perfection. Krishna is perfect. So we should take up that practice and see the joy, see the happiness in our lives that comes as a result. So that begins again, as I emphasize always, as we emphasize always, and as Rupa Goswami emphasizes, that Tanama, that by chanting the holy name, chanting Hare Krishna, it begins all from there. Without that, there's nothing else. That is supreme. Without that, there's no devotional service. That is in itself devotional service, but without the chanting the holy name of the Lord, we will not be able to come to this platform of Chaito Darpana, of clarity. So it begins with chanting and then service, just like even Mataji today was helping serve in the kitchen. She was cleaning pots and doing all of these things. Service, utilizing our senses in service to Krishna. Reading, coming together like this every night. Actually, We have some boys in the University of Georgia that they just can't get enough. We have to kick them out. We have to kick them out. They come in the evening and they just talk and talk. And it's good, of course. We forget about time. If you've ever, that happened to me too. When I first came to the Krishna conscious movement, I would sit with the devotee and I would talk to him. And I'll look at the time, it's like 7 o'clock, or I gotta go to sleep by 10 o'clock. And then I look down again and it's like 11 o'clock. But it's felt like it's only been a few minutes or something, because you've engaged in this deep conversation about Krishna consciousness, just completely forgot about time. And then you're like, all right, I gotta go to sleep. And he goes, one more thing, and then you look down again and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was new, I was like, what is this? It's like, what is this? You just get absorbed in this, and again and again. And these boys are in UGA are also having experience. They come and they just don't want to leave. We just get into this very deep philosophical conversations about Krishna consciousness. And it's like 11 o'clock, and then it's like, well, me, Ali, and Shantanu, who's the other boy, we got to wake up at 4. But it's ecstatic. It's like great. It's like amazing. One forgets about time. So one gets to experience what the spiritual world may be like, or is like, actually. Because one loses that sense. Everybody wants to live in the presence in this world, right? That's like I want to live in the presence. I want to live in the moment. Krishna consciousness actually gives you that. You actually experience that rightly there, that eternal time. So it's an enlivening thing. So when you take it up, so we should do it every day. Like these boys, they just can't get enough. They just keep coming every day. Sometimes we get back from like a weekend. We come here, we come weekend. We just get back, and they're like, "All right, are you guys back?" We're like, "Yeah." We haven't even unloaded. They're like, "All right, we're coming." Like, "Oh man, give us a break, God." We like it. We love them. But it shows the desire for that, the hankering for that. It's nice. So we can make it every day, every part of our life. It doesn't have to be, I have to do this sometimes. But we do it all the time. After our work, we may be working, maybe doing so many things. But we come and we sit together and we read Bhagavad Gita. Make it a point to read through that Bhagavad Gita. We're doing that with these boys. We're already halfway through the 2nd chapter in 2 weeks. And a lot of discussions takes place and all this. But it's ecstatic. It's amazing. It's really amazing. So we should utilize our time like this. And you'll see at the end of your life, you'll look back and you'll go, wow, Or like later down the line, you look back and you'll actually, it's like you say, okay, which moment was nice in life? All of them. All of them. All of them. And it's not just some euphoria, but you actually experience it practically every day, day in, day out. Having that experience in UGA every day. Oh, it's the taste of Krishna consciousness. The giving it to others. When you explain it, you yourself taste it. So it's really ecstatic. I'm sorry I'm going on and on. But, so yeah, that's some idea of time and how to utilize our time. So please, come more. Come in the mornings if you can. If you can't make it in the mornings, it's a little hard to make it in the morning, I know. Make it in the evenings. The Matajis, for the women, there's a house right there. You can go there. You can read every day. You can sit together, take dinner, have prasadam every day. There's no limit to it. You can even, those who are qualified or who want to, spend a night, and then definitely 100% you have to attend the morning program. Then you have no excuse. They're doing that also over there, and they're every night, every week. They're coming once a week, staying the night. These are university students that go to school full time. They stay. They wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning with it. We're like, "You sure you can do that?" Like, "No, definitely. I want to do it. I want to do what you guys do." And they're amazing. 3 of them all chanted 16 rounds. First day morning program, full morning program. Didn't fall asleep. Weren't like, "Oh man, I don't know if I can do this." It was like, no, okay, this is the thing to do. Why? Because of all of these discussions that take place, recognition of what is the goal of life. So all of these studies, all of these understandings, they centralize around our practice. If you just study and don't practice, useless. Also useless. So is there any questions or comments? Otherwise, I keep going on and on. Any questions? Anything anybody would like to say? Please feel free to ask. Okay. Oh yeah, you have a question? Hare Krishna.
Greetings. We come in the name of the Lord of hosts.
I can't hear you.
Me know not why.
Sorry. He's turning it on.
Oh. What's this?
We'll show you in a second.
You have a question?
Indubitably. Me want to know, do me know me?
Wait, what was that? Say that again?
Excuse me?
What did you say that again? Well, I didn't understand what you said.
Do me know me?
Do me know me?
Indubitably.
That's a very deep philosophical question.
No, it's not deep.
Pretty deep.
It can't be deep if me grasp it.
Do me know me? I don't. It's not a very.
It's not laughing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not a very philosophical statement. Do I know who I am?
No, me not talking about I or I am.
Mm-hmm.
Me speaks of me.
Okay, who are you?
Me know not who you are. Me speaking of me.
That didn't mean anything at all. It didn't mean anything.
In a human language, do you know yourself? It's supposed to be me, myself, then I. Not I, myself, and don't know me.
Okay.
And me come in peace.
Any other questions? Yes.
So I understand as a devotee, but I'm trying to reconcile what that means in my life.
Okay.
Like, how do you make that bridge to detachment, understanding that you still have responsibility
Of course.
in this life or in this material life? So I'm, wanting to move closer, but it's just so much to
It's
like
a lot.
disattach
It is a lot. Yeah.
to like.
It's easy for me to sit up here. Like, you don't work a job. It's like, yeah, too. Yeah, I don't work a job.
Like, I would rather spend, the meetings that I'm in at work chanting on my beads.
That's amazing.
But if they say something that I'm supposed to respond to, I'm like, oops, sorry, I was chanting. So I'm just, maybe there is no answer to the question. I guess I'm just expressing.
No, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
That's a really good question. Is it actually in the when you read the Srimad Bhagavatam, where when the questions are asked, the person becomes glorified. So, oh, that's a great question, and there's a glorification that goes on. That why is it a good question? Because now it allows us to actually understand how to move forward in life. It allows us to help everybody else understand. So, like when you see Arjuna on the battlefield, you're reading Bhagavad Gita, right?
Yes.
Arjuna, he wants to give up everything. Krishna says, no, you can't. He outrightly tells him, you're acting like a woman. I mean, he's a big warrior, you got to understand. This man is like huge, he's like the leader of the war. And that's like an insult to a warrior back in that time. Now maybe we can't say it politically correct, but it's politically incorrect maybe. But Krishna says that to him. You're acting out of impotency. That you're a warrior, you have to fight. This is your duty. But he says, well, you do it in being conscious of me. So we have our duties in life. Now, I'm a monk, and my duty is to specifically study and give knowledge. And that tends to be more intrinsically Krishna conscious, you can say, that activity itself. But it is not that your material situation determines the level of Krishna consciousness you're at. So I'm in this orange dress, for example. The devotees in the white dress, and not all of them, but some of them, they're in married life. They have kids, they have family, they have children, they have jobs. Does that indicate that I'm more advanced than them? Absolutely not. I have a lot of devotees who I have deep respect for, and I know they're like way more advanced than me, for a fact. They work jobs. But for example, I'm going to embarrass him a little bit. I'm so sorry. He's a good example. Our amazing devotee, Chandan Acarya Prabhu, he works a full-time job. He lives here, but he works a full-time job. He spent a year just being a monk. And he did that for his own, and I'm sure he can tell you about how amazing that time was. But I see him, he wakes up at 4 a.m. What time do you wake up, 3:30? He wakes up at 4 o'clock every day. He chants his rounds. He takes a little nap. He attends the class in the morning, and then he goes, and he's a what do you do, prosecutor? He's a prosecutor. He's a lawyer. He works all day. He comes back. He takes lunch or dinner, and then he reads, he chants, finishes his rounds, and then goes to sleep on time to wake up and do it again. I'm like, I couldn't do that. I'm sorry, like I would struggle like hell. I know that for a fact, because I've done it. I've been at university and was trying to practice. It's really hard. So Krishna tests us also in different circumstances. How are we able to be Krishna conscious? And that's what he's doing to Arjuna on the battlefield. Arjuna, you can just run away and just call it a day and become an ascetic, become a monk like that. But that's not what I want you to do. I want you to continue your duty. But do it in conscious of me, just like you've got these flowers here. See, those flowers, now you've worked, but you may be meditating, when I go to the temple, I want to buy these flowers for Krishna. I'm working all day, let me go do something nice for Krishna at the end of the day. Whatever the fruits of my results may be, I'm working this job, and because I have this duty to do it, but I'm not meditating on how I can use this job to make my material life better, but how I can make my spiritual life better. So it's a shift of consciousness. It's not about exactly changing your material situation. Actually, you can change your material situation. I know many monks who are in this dress. I've known, not here, in many other places I've been, where they're just in it just for the material situation. Because it's easy. It's in one sense, it's an easygoing life if you want it to be. You just have to do just enough, and you get clothes, you get food, you get shelter, you get really good food. So you can live an easygoing life, but you'll see they don't make it actually. It's only a few years, and then you see all of it come out. Because Krishna consciousness is a purifying process. It brings all the dirt out. So, but I've seen many devotees who have worked jobs, but they become dedicated. They really have to go the extra mile. You really have to utilize your time properly, because if you want to chant 16 rounds, that's like, if you should 2 hours, it takes about 2 hours to do it. When you become efficient in chanting clearly and a little faster, it takes about 2 hours. That's a lot in a day if you're working a job. And then to wake up early, that's pretty hard. So it's very laudable, those who do it. Because it requires a lot more than, to some extent, to what we do. We have the situation built for it. We can take a nap in the day. It's like a pretty good thing. But you might not be able to do that. So then you have to kind of see how to adjust your life in such a way that you're able to do that. So that becomes Krishna consciousness. Your job never becomes, Krishna consciousness, but your shift of your consciousness, you become Krishna conscious. You can never say your job is devotional service, because that's karma yoga, is that you're performing karma, but you're connected to Krishna. So the point is that you don't have to be a monk to be like self-realized. You don't. That's a material understanding. Actually, this dress is nothing. It indicates the lifestyle I'm at, but it really doesn't mean anything, because it's a designation of this body. It helps, of course, in Krishna consciousness, the status of life. But if I was to be attached primarily to this cloth, again, it's material. But we're attached to serving Krishna, not to this cloth or this order of life. Actually, just like, and devotees advanced in that order of life. And generally in Varnashram you have brahmachari, and then you go to married life. So you'll see most of the monks become married actually. You can bless me not to, but most of the monks do get married, and they move because they see that, okay, my Krishna consciousness, I can facilitate my Krishna consciousness a little better over here, because sometimes renounced order of life is very hard to live actually at the same time. Requires a lot of detachment, requires a lot of sacrifice, a lot of the nature as a man you have to sacrifice, because man means responsible, controlling, whereas in a monk life you're submissive to your teachers, and so it's hard. So then they may advance to the next order to facilitate their Krishna consciousness. So you can live a life that you may be working outside, but you center that. Now you center your home around Krishna consciousness. What we did, like Ali Krishna was explaining last week, we just went to like the thrift shop and found a bunch of really nice frames, and we printed a bunch of pictures of Krishna, or you can order them online too, and we have in this Athens house that we have, the whole place is like, each wall has like 3 paintings of Krishna. And then we have the altar, which is the center of the house. Instead of making the center the TV, you get nice frames like these. See these? Mm-hmm. You do the exact same thing in your house, so you can always remember Krishna. Mm-hmm. You offer your food to Krishna. Everything you buy at the store is only in recognition is that I'm going to offer this to Krishna. So your whole life, every moment of your life can become Krishna conscious. And the point is that we chant out 16 rounds, but you may not be able to have your beads. So how do we go on? Well, that connection is going on all the time. It's not like meditation, where meditation is 10 minutes and then the rest of your day is separate from that. Our consciousness, that stays Krishna conscious. So it's hard. It's definitely really hard. It's not easy. But for those who endeavor, Krishna says, well, he helps them. I carry what you lack and preserve what you have. So Krishna will give you the intelligence in how to do it. I was in university studying physics full-time, where Krishna gave the intelligence how to read for an hour a day, chant 16 rounds every day, I would go out on the streets and distribute books and do all of that also. And somehow pass through physics and do all of these things. And I was like, how is this possible? Well, Krishna gives the intelligence in how to do that. Yeah, I cheated, I'm not gonna lie. But he gave that intelligence how to cheat. But I saw that as Krishna's help, actually. I was like, oh man, I got a day to have this assignment done. So I would get one question from one friend and then tell the other friend, hey, look, I finished this question, I'll give you the answer, you give me that answer. And then I'll shift it and get all my questions done and hand it up. Hey, got like 100. So, but Krishna gave that intelligence so that I could continue chanting. I'm not saying go and cheat and do anything. Please don't take it as that. But your life, like if you center around Krishna consciousness, it doesn't have to be that you have to be exactly live this. So like, it helps. And you may do that also. Like your weekend, you may dedicate some time of your week to doing that. Let's say like you have Saturday, and you may do that. You say, okay, let me come spend the whole Sunday morning chanting and hearing, and then whatever, you might need to take a little nap, and then Sunday, and then help after the Sunday, and just make one day just like of your week, like really exclusive, and then carry that out for the rest of the week. Also in your own life, making that continue, going on doing that. So it's quite nice, it's quite enlivening. I remember that when I started process of Krishna consciousness, it's quite nice to be able to come to the temple every day. I used to go every day. That was another thing, yeah. On top of the reading and chanting my 16 rounds, I used to go and do kirtan for an hour at the temple every day. That's how I learned all the instruments and all of these things. Just went and there was nobody there actually, but there was like one other person and you just do it anyways. So yeah, there's places here, the Matajis are here every day. You can come, feel free. Don't feel like it's like home. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. This is a play, this is a family. We see the whole world as our family. Those who really want to come and sincerely want to engage in Krishna consciousness, you're welcome to come anytime, all the time. We're not going to be like, oh man, they're coming around too much, we got to feed them. It's like, no, you keep coming, we feed you more. We feed you more and nicer things. So it's nice. It's a nice family.
Thank you.
I hope that helps. Is there anything else? Any other questions, anything? No? Okay. Now, oh my God, I take up so much time. We got to chant a little bit. I was trying to do a round, but I took up all the time by just speaking. So we'll chant on our beads. We'll do a little bit, a couple of minutes. I wish I could have done a little more. So how many rounds? Okay, this is the question that I always. How many rounds is everyone chanting? How many? You're chanting 16, right? He's down. Who? Anybody else? How many rounds do you chant? Do you chant many rounds at all? Yourself? A few? Do you, Prabhuji here? I don't think he's right.
Yes, I do chant.
Oh, good. Do you number of rounds do you do? Any specific? Okay, good, great. Yourself, do you do any yet? Let's get there. Let's do it. And Matajis, I know you guys have been around for a little bit now. One of you. Okay, we can get up. We'll do a few now. I was trying to do all one today, but it's going to get a little late, and then we still got a kirtan to do. So, I think everybody's been here before. Have you got some beads? This is your first time. Mataji, do you want to show Mataji how to hold the beads so that she... So yeah, try to see if you can. One is good start. It's a good start. Keep going. See how you can make it more. If you get that experience, anybody done 16 yet? Like once or a few times, whatever? You do it every day. She's on the game. She's on game. So yeah, you get that experience of what that's like. So even if that means sometimes, if you come in the morning, you'll definitely, if you don't fall asleep. So we chant the whole mantra on that first beat. And so Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The point again is to listen to the sound vibration, concentrate upon the sound. The minds want to go so many places and do so many things, but just bring it back to the sound. Okay, so we'll do a few. We won't do too many because I'm going to take up way too much time. So 3, 2, 1. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Last one. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you very much. Now we have prasadam downstairs. We're going to do a kirtan for about 5 minutes, and then we'll all go downstairs and take prasadam. Obviously, this is happening every week. If you want to come more, please talk to the Matajis. They'll arrange that for you. If you want to get more books, and if you want to keep the beads for yourself, you're welcome to keep them. If you'd like to give a small donation for the beads, that would be welcome. So other than that, we don't really have anything to say. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Premanande. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.